Have you ever felt like money has a mind of its own, like it deliberately flows towards some people while avoiding others completely? What if I told you that this intuition might be more accurate than you ever imagined? That money actually responds to you like a living entity with its own intelligence and consciousness? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share could fundamentally change your relationship with wealth forever. We've all been taught that money is just a tool, a medium of exchange, something inert and lifeless. But what if this common understanding is precisely what's keeping abundance from flowing into your life? The revolutionary insight I'm exploring today suggests that money operates much like a sentient force that's constantly reading and responding to invisible signals you're unconsciously broadcasting. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You focus intensely on needing money, worry about bills piling up, feel that knot of anxiety when checking your bank balance, and somehow, mysteriously, your financial situation only seems to worsen. There's a profound reason for this pattern, and it has everything to do with the hidden language your mind is speaking to wealth. This invisible language consists not just of your conscious thoughts, but of your deepest beliefs, emotional patterns, and even the subtle energy your body emits when you think about finances. Money, as a living, energetic force, is constantly interpreting these signals, deciding whether to be attracted to you or repelled by you. Think about the people you know who seem to effortlessly attract wealth. Have you noticed something different about how they talk about money? How they carry themselves? The fascinating truth is they've unconsciously mastered this secret dialogue with the living energy of abundance. What you're about to discover might surprise you, especially when you realize how your current money vocabulary, both spoken and unspoken, has been programming your financial reality without your awareness. The good news is that once you understand the principles of this communication, you can begin to consciously reshape it. Imagine being able to speak directly to money in a language it responds to positively. Imagine wealth recognizing you as someone it wants to flow toward rather than away from. This isn't magical thinking. It's about understanding the subtle energetic dynamics that influence our material reality. The relationship between your consciousness and the living essence of money goes deeper than most financial experts have ever acknowledged. Traditional advice focuses on external strategies, budgeting, investing, saving, all valuable. But they miss the fundamental inner dialogue that precedes all these actions. As we continue exploring this revolutionary perspective, you'll begin to recognize patterns in your own relationship with money that have been invisible to you until now. If this message resonates with you and you want to keep discovering how to turn your mind into a magnet for abundance, subscribe now to the channel and hit the bell, because what's coming next could change your life forever. Visualizing money as if it's already present marks a profound shift in your relationship with wealth. Rather than seeing money as something elusive that exists in some distant future, this approach invites you to experience the feeling of abundance now. It's about creating that internal emotional landscape where wealth already exists before it materializes externally. Think about how differently you move through the world when you feel financially secure versus when you feel lacking. Your decisions, your posture, even your breathing changes. This internal resonance creates a natural alignment with opportunities that match your frequency. I've witnessed countless transformations where individuals started embodying wealth consciousness first, and then watched as their external circumstances began to mirror that inner reality. Speaking with money involves emotions, not words. This resonates deeply because money operates on an emotional frequency. Many of us have been conditioned to approach money from a purely logical perspective. Budgeting, investing, saving, all important practical skills, but they miss the deeper truth that money responds most powerfully to our emotional relationship with it. When you feel gratitude for the money you already have, when you experience joy in your financial transactions rather than anxiety, you're communicating on money's preferred channel. I've found in my own journey that when I shifted from speaking to money with desperation to speaking with appreciation and expectancy, the flow changed dramatically. Think of money as a shy friend who responds to your emotional state. When you're anxious about it, it tends to keep its distance. But when you're comfortable, confident, and expecting good things in its presence, it tends to show up more frequently. This subtle, energetic shift represents a revolutionary revelation in wealth consciousness that most traditional financial advice completely overlooks. The mind doesn't distinguish between what's physically present and what's vividly imagined with emotion. By creating that feeling of abundance now, you're essentially priming your subconscious to recognize and attract corresponding opportunities. I've implemented this practice daily, imagining the feeling of financial freedom, the sensation of making impactful investments, the joy of generous giving, all before the physical reality matched my bank account. This practice isn't about denying current circumstances or engaging in fantasy. It's about understanding the sequence of manifestation. Feeling precedes physical reality. The emotion creates the blueprint that reality eventually follows. Your nervous system, when consistently bathed in the emotions of abundance, begins to make this your default state. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these visualization practices can be integrated into your daily life, even when faced with contradicting evidence. The journey toward financial fluency requires navigating the sometimes turbulent waters between your desired reality and your current circumstances. The hidden truth is that your emotional consistency in this process becomes your greatest asset. If you've ever experienced that shift in perspective, where suddenly money seems to flow more easily after you've relaxed your grip on it, drop frequency shift in the comments. I'm curious how many of you have noticed this phenomenon in your own lives. Your inner conviction attracts money like a magnet. It's one of those hidden truths that separates those who constantly struggle financially from those who seem to effortlessly draw abundance into their lives. When your internal belief system aligns with prosperity, you begin emitting a frequency that money responds to. And yes, I know how metaphysical that sounds, but stay with me because the practical applications are life-changing. Think about someone you know who always seems to land on their feet financially. They lose a job and somehow find a better one within weeks. They mention a business idea and suddenly investors appear. This isn't coincidence. It's their unwavering certainty acting as an invisible force in their reality. The mind creates pathways based on our deepest held beliefs. If you secretly believe you don't deserve wealth or that money is scarce, your decisions, opportunities, and actions will mysteriously align to create exactly that outcome. It's a silent sabotage happening beneath your conscious awareness. But here's where the transformation begins. Gratitude, especially before receiving money, works as a powerful catalyst in this process. When you express genuine thankfulness for wealth that hasn't physically arrived yet, you're creating a psychological environment that recognizes abundance as your natural state. You're essentially telling the universe, this is already mine, I'm just waiting for the physical manifestation to catch up. I discovered this principle during my own financial journey when I was facing mounting debt. Instead of focusing on what was missing, I began keeping a prosperity journal where I wrote daily gratitude entries for the money that was on its way. At first it felt absurd, thanking an empty bank account. But within 3 months, Unexpected opportunities emerged that aligned perfectly with my skills. The revenue followed. What was happening? My reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, began noticing opportunities it previously would have dismissed as irrelevant. My actions became more aligned with someone who expected success rather than feared failure. The mind-money connection isn't mystical, it's neurological. Ready to talk to money as if it were your greatest ally and learn how to attract wealth with clarity and power. Click subscribe and join us on this journey toward financial freedom. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how specific language patterns can either strengthen or weaken your money. Magnetism. The words you habitually use when discussing finances aren't just descriptive, they're prescriptive. They're actively shaping your reality. Consider the difference between saying, "I can't afford that," versus, "I'm choosing to invest my money elsewhere right now." The first statement reinforces limitation and victimhood. The second emphasizes choice and prioritization. Same financial situation, dramatically different internal messaging. This linguistic rewiring extends to how you perceive wealth itself. Many people have unconsciously absorbed harmful narratives about money, that it's the root of evil, that wealthy people are inherently greedy, or that financial struggle somehow makes you more virtuous. These beliefs form an invisible barrier between you and abundance. Breaking through requires conscious examination of these inherited stories. What did your parents unknowingly teach you about money? What cultural messages have you internalized? The revelations can be startling when you begin this inventory of your financial programming. I worked with someone who discovered she had an unconscious belief that earning more than her father would somehow dishonor him. This hidden loyalty was capping her income despite her conscious desires for wealth. Once identified, this barrier could be compassionately addressed and dismantled. The mindset shift I'm describing isn't about positive thinking alone. It's about identity-level change. You don't just think differently about money. You become someone who naturally attracts it because your relationship with wealth has fundamentally transformed. This is why affirmations without this deeper work often fail to create lasting change. If you're nodding along as you hear this, if something within you recognizes these patterns in your own life, I invite you to write "Awakening My Wealth Identity" in the comments below. This acknowledgement is the first step toward financial transformation. Let me share something that transformed my understanding of wealth. It's not just about transactions or numbers on a balance sheet. It's an energy exchange. When I finally grasped this concept, I witnessed a remarkable shift in my financial landscape that I believe anyone can experience. Think about what happens when you maintain consistent mental focus on wealth. You're essentially tuning your awareness to a specific frequency, much like adjusting a radio dial to receive a particular station. The more you sustain this focus, the stronger the connection becomes. This isn't mystical thinking. It's about training your brain to recognize opportunities that were always there, but previously invisible to you. I discovered that wealthy individuals aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They simply have different thought patterns around money. They've established what I call a dialogue with money, treating their finances with the same respect and attention they might give to an important relationship. This ongoing conversation transforms how resources flow into your life. Consider how you speak about money in your daily life. Do you complain about its scarcity? Do you feel anxiety when spending it? These subtle patterns create resistance in your relationship with wealth. The hidden truth is that gratitude serves as a powerful amplifier in this dialogue. When you genuinely appreciate the money already in your life, even if it seems insufficient, you create a psychological environment conducive to attracting more. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining the invisible barriers many of us have constructed. These mental obstacles often operate beneath our conscious awareness, sabotaging our financial growth while we logically pursue wealth-building strategies. The journey toward abundance requires bringing these hidden beliefs into the light. What fascinates me is how our earliest memories around money shape our adult relationship with wealth. Perhaps you witnessed your parents arguing about finances, or maybe you absorbed subtle messages about the morality of money. These formative experiences create a financial blueprint that governs your decisions decades later, creating an internal ceiling that limits what you believe is possible. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that wealth operates according to principles rather than luck or privilege. Just as gravity consistently pulls objects toward the earth, financial principles work regardless of who applies them. This realization shifts your perspective from seeing wealth as something reserved for others to recognizing it as an accessible outcome of aligned actions. Behind the scenes of every financial transformation is a decision, a moment when someone chooses to rewrite their money story. This isn't about making drastic external changes, but rather adjusting your internal relationship with abundance. When you shift your perception, previously invisible pathways toward wealth suddenly appear with remarkable clarity. The impact of consistent mental focus extends beyond just attracting money. It reshapes how you manage what you receive, how you invest, and ultimately, the decisions you make with your resources. This creates a powerful compound effect, where each aligned choice builds upon previous ones, accelerating your journey toward financial freedom. What's your current money dialogue saying? Is it full of appreciation and expectation of increase, or is it dominated by worry and limitation? The words you consistently use about your finances become instructions to your subconscious mind, programming your future outcomes with surprising precision. If this perspective resonates with you, type "I'm upgrading my money" dialogue in the comments. I'm curious to hear how many of you are ready to transform your relationship with wealth. When you genuinely commit to imagining your financial success, it's not just a matter of visualizing dollar signs or numbers in a bank account. True transformation happens when you engage all your senses in this creative process. Feel the weight of your success. How does it sit in your body? Hear the conversations you'll have when money is no longer a source of stress. Taste the freedom that comes with financial abundance. This multisensory approach creates neural pathways that make your financial goals feel not just possible, but inevitable. I've seen this phenomenon with countless clients who were initially stuck. John, a freelance designer, couldn't seem to break past a certain income ceiling. When we worked on his sensory imagination, having him physically embody how it would feel to confidently charge premium rates, something shifted. Within 3 months, he had doubled his fees, and surprisingly, his client list grew rather than shrunk. The journey toward wealth isn't just external. It's an inner revolution that begins with identifying and releasing limiting beliefs about money. These hidden barriers often operate beneath our conscious awareness, silently sabotaging our efforts. Perhaps you absorbed messages in childhood that money is scarce, that wealthy people are somehow unethical, or that you don't deserve abundance. These beliefs create an invisible ceiling that no amount of practical financial advice can break through. What makes this work so powerful is that once you identify these limiting narratives, you can systematically replace them. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic mental reconditioning. When Sarah, a brilliant marketing professional, realized she carried her father's belief that we're not the kind of people who get rich, she could finally see why she kept self-sabotaging promising opportunities. The revelation wasn't just emotional, it was practical. She began recognizing when this belief was activating and developed specific counter-responses. This mindset shift creates ripple effects throughout your financial life. You'll notice you start making decisions differently, not from a place of scarcity or fear, but from confidence and possibility. Your relationship with money transforms from adversarial to collaborative. Money becomes a tool rather than a tyrant. The fascinating aspect of this inner work is how it manifests in external circumstances. Opportunities that were always theoretically available suddenly become visible to you. People respond differently to your new energy around money. Matters. The world mirrors back your internal shifts in surprisingly concrete ways. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these internal changes create external behaviors that directly impact your wealth-building capacity. When you've released those old money stories, you'll find yourself naturally implementing wealth principles that previously felt foreign or intimidating. Your relationship with risk transforms, not because you've become reckless, but because you can distinguish between calculated opportunities and genuine threats. The connection between your mindset and tangible financial outcomes isn't mystical thinking, it's practical psychology. When you expect obstacles and limitations, your brain actively filters for evidence that confirms those expectations. Conversely, when you've rewired your thinking to anticipate possibilities, you notice and act on opportunities invisible to others. This reprogramming work isn't always comfortable. It requires facing deeply held convictions that may have defined your identity for years. The discomfort, however, signals growth, the kind of profound evolution that precedes meaningful change in your financial reality. Each time you challenge an old belief, you're creating new neural pathways that will eventually become your default mode of thinking. If any of this resonates with your own experience with money, drop "breaking free" in the comments. I'd love to know who's on this journey of financial transformation alongside me. Visualization is far more than just daydreaming. It's a powerful mind reprogramming tool when done correctly. The key difference between effective visualization and mere wishful thinking lies in the emotional intensity you bring to these mental images. When you visualize having abundance, don't just see the numbers in your bank account. Feel the deep sense of security washing over you, the freedom to make choices without financial constraint, and the joy of being able to help others through your prosperity. Your visualization sessions should engage all your senses. What does financial freedom smell like? Perhaps it's the ocean breeze from your beachfront property or the leather interior of your new car. What does it sound like? Maybe it's the laughter of your family during a vacation you've always wanted to take. The more sensorially rich your visualizations, the more real they become to your subconscious mind. This brings me to a critical revelation many miss in their wealth journey: the relationship we form with money itself. Most people who struggle financially have unconsciously cast money as the villain in their life story. They see it as elusive, complicated, or even morally corrupting. This adversarial relationship creates an energetic barrier that repels the very thing they desire. The transformation begins when you start perceiving money as your ally, a neutral tool that amplifies who you already are. Money doesn't change people, it simply magnifies their existing values and tendencies. When you shift your mindset to see money as a friend that enables your dreams and supports your highest values, the resistance melts away. I discovered this hidden truth during my darkest financial chapter. I realized I had been treating money like a necessary evil rather than a welcome friend. The moment I began speaking to money with appreciation, literally thanking the bills in my wallet for the value they represented, something profound shifted in my financial reality. Consider this: would you be attracted to someone who constantly complained about you, doubted your presence, and accused you of bringing problems? Of course not. Money follows the same principle. It flows toward those who welcome it with open arms and genuine appreciation. This mindset transformation isn't just theoretical. It impacts your daily decisions in powerful ways. When you see money as your ally, you make more confident financial choices. You invest with clarity, rather than fear. You charge what you're worth without apology. You save with purpose rather than deprivation. Every financial interaction becomes an opportunity to strengthen your relationship with abundance. Behind this principle lies an even deeper psychological revelation. Our earliest money memories create invisible scripts that run in the background of our financial lives. Perhaps you watched your parents argue about money, or you heard phrases like, "money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich. People are greedy." These experiences formed your money identity long before you had any conscious say in the matter. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how these visualization techniques and money mindset shifts translate into practical action steps. Because understanding the principles is just the beginning. Implementing them consistently is where the real magic happens. The journey to financial liberation requires both internal work and external strategy, working in perfect harmony to create lasting change. If what I'm sharing resonates with your own experience with money, write "Money is my ally" in the comments below. The power of abundance lies in where you direct your attention. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how focusing on what you don't have seems to amplify those feelings of emptiness? This mental shift is truly transformational. When we fixate on scarcity, the promotion we didn't get, the relationship that failed, the opportunities that passed us by, we're actually programming our minds to see more of what's missing. But here's the fascinating revelation that changed everything for me. Abundance isn't necessarily about having more, it's about recognizing what already exists in your life. It's a perceptual journey that begins with a simple decision to redirect your attention. Our minds are incredibly powerful filtering systems. Whatever we focus on expands, not because more of it magically appears, but because our awareness of it grows. I remember working with someone who constantly complained about never having enough money. Every conversation circled back to financial struggle. The hidden truth was that his income was actually decent, but his mindset had created a reality where scarcity dominated his experience. His entire identity had become wrapped up in the narrative of not enough. The remarkable shift began when he started a daily practice of acknowledging what he already possessed. Rather than lamenting the vacation he couldn't afford, he began appreciating the comfortable home he lived in. Instead of focusing on the car he couldn't buy, he expressed gratitude for reliable transportation that got him where he needed to go. Within months, without any significant change in his income, his entire relationship with money transformed. He started finding creative ways to enjoy life within his means, recognized opportunities he'd been blind to before, and eventually attracted better financial circumstances. The impact wasn't just economic. His relationships improved, his stress levels decreased, and his overall satisfaction with life expanded. This principle applies universally. Whether it's love, success, time, or well-being, what we focus on shapes our reality. The mind can't hold contradictory thoughts simultaneously. When you deliberately place your attention on abundance, scarcity thoughts naturally begin to dissolve. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the practical steps to rewire your thoughts. Replacing scarcity with abundance isn't just positive thinking, it's a disciplined practice of mental redirection. Start by becoming aware of your default patterns. Most of us don't even realize how habitually we focus on what's missing rather than what's present. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, am I viewing this situation through the lens of lack or abundance? This awareness alone creates a momentary break in the pattern, allowing you to make a different choice. Then, deliberately shift your perspective. If you catch yourself thinking, "I never have enough time," reframe it to, "I choose how to invest the time I have." If you're thinking, "I'm always overlooked for opportunities," shift to, "I'm developing skills that will open new doors." These aren't just affirmations, they're truthful reinterpretations that acknowledge your personal agency and the resources available to you. The fascinating behind-the-scenes reality is that your brain begins forming new neural pathways when you consistently practice this redirecting of attention. What begins as a conscious effort eventually becomes your natural way of perceiving the world. If you're resonating with this message and recognize how this mindset shift could transform your experience, write in the comments, "I choose abundance." Now, let's explore how this abundance mindset can be applied specifically to your most challenging circumstances. Your intentions must align with bold actions. It's one thing to say what you want, but it's an entirely different story to actually pursue it with unwavering determination. I've seen countless people set impressive goals at the beginning of each year, only to abandon them by February. What separates those who achieve breakthrough success from those who remain stuck in cycles of unfulfilled potential isn't just having good intentions, it's the courage to take decisive action when the path forward isn't perfectly clear. Resilience in times of uncertainty is crucial. Life rarely unfolds according to our carefully constructed plans. The market shifts unexpectedly, opportunities appear suddenly, and sometimes the ground beneath your feet seems to disappear altogether. During these moments of uncertainty, your capacity for resilience becomes your most valuable asset. I remember working with a client who lost his entire business overnight due to regulatory changes. Instead of collapsing under the weight of this setback, he used it as a catalyst for transformation, rebuilding from scratch with a more sustainable model that eventually surpassed his previous success. This journey toward achievement isn't linear. It's filled with unexpected detours and hidden lessons. What often goes unrecognized is that these periods of uncertainty aren't obstacles to your success. They're essential components of the growth process. They force you to develop adaptability, strengthen your problem-solving abilities, and clarify what truly matters to you. Without these challenges, you might reach your destination, but you wouldn't become the person capable of maintaining and expanding upon that success. I've witnessed this pattern repeatedly in my own life and in the lives of those I've mentored. The initial resistance we feel when facing difficult circumstances isn't something to avoid. It's a signal that meaningful growth is possible. Behind every significant breakthrough lies a period of doubt where continuing forward required faith in yourself and your vision when external evidence was scarce. The mindset shift required here is profound yet simple. Start viewing obstacles not as unfortunate interruptions to your plans, but as integral elements of your journey. This perspective doesn't make challenges disappear, but it transforms how you experience them. Instead of being derailed by unexpected difficulties, you begin to anticipate them as natural waypoints on the path to extraordinary achievement. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the hidden architecture of personal transformation. When we examine the stories of those who've created remarkable changes in their lives, we discover common patterns that often remain invisible to casual observation. These patterns reveal themselves not through dramatic moments of inspiration, but through consistent habits sustained during periods when motivation naturally wanes. What's fascinating is how closely intertwined our daily routines are with our capacity for resilience. The small decisions we make when nobody's watching, how we respond to minor setbacks, whether we keep promises to ourselves, how we talk to ourselves when we fail, these seemingly insignificant moments compound into either remarkable strength or persistent vulnerability. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that resilience isn't primarily an emotional state, but a practical skill developed through intentional practice. Just as you wouldn't expect to build physical strength without consistent training, you can't develop emotional resilience without deliberately placing yourself in situations that stretch your capacity to persevere. If you're nodding along while reading this, type "Resilience is my superpower" in the comments. I'd love to know this resonates with your experience. Money is actually a pretty fascinating creature when you truly understand its psychology. It hears clearly, responds to energy, and gravitates towards certainty. This is why two people with identical financial knowledge can have completely different results. One struggles while another thrives. What I've discovered through years of financial transformation is that gratitude functions as a magnet for wealth. It's not just spiritual mumbo-jumbo. There's profound psychology happening beneath the surface. When you express genuine appreciation for the money already flowing through your life, whether it's the $5 in your wallet or the ability to pay for basic necessities, you're rewiring your subconscious relationship with abundance. The hidden truth most financial experts miss is that wealth abhors anxiety and desperation. Money flows toward those who don't chase it frantically, but rather welcome it confidently. Think about it. Have you noticed how financial stress seems to create more financial problems? That's not coincidence. It's the wealth repulsion principle at work. Behind every wealthy individual exists a relationship with money built on respect rather than fear. They've learned to speak money's language fluently. Money responds to clarity, knowing exactly what you want and why. It's attracted to confidence, believing you deserve prosperity without apology. And perhaps most powerfully, it multiplies in the presence of consistent gratitude. This creates a fascinating cycle. The more you appreciate what you have, the more your financial situation improves, giving you more reasons for genuine gratitude. I've watched this pattern unfold repeatedly in my own journey and with countless others who've applied these principles. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the concrete daily practices that activate this wealth magnetism. The transformation begins with something deceptively simple: a daily gratitude ritual specifically focused on your financial life. Each morning, acknowledge 3 specific money-related things you're thankful for, no matter how small. Maybe it's having enough for groceries, receiving an unexpected refund, or simply having financial knowledge that previous generations didn't. The real power emerges when you pair this gratitude with crystal-clear intention. Money doesn't respond to vague wishes like, "I want more abundance." It resonates with precise direction. "I'm creating multiple income streams that generate $10,000 monthly through work that energizes me." Your relationship with money reflects your deepest beliefs about worthiness and possibility. Many of us carry invisible financial barriers installed during childhood, perhaps hearing things like "money doesn't grow on trees" or "rich people are greedy." These subconscious programs run silently in the background, sabotaging our best financial efforts. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that money itself is neutral, neither good nor evil. It simply amplifies who we already are and flows toward those who understand its nature. When you shift from seeing money as scarce to viewing it as an abundant resource that circulates predictably based on certain principles, everything changes. This mindset shift creates a foundation of confidence that money naturally gravitates toward. It's like learning to swim with the current instead of constantly fighting against it. Your financial decisions become clearer, opportunities appear more readily, and the emotional drain of money anxiety begins to dissolve. If this perspective on wealth is shifting something for you, write "Money responds to my gratitude" in the comments. I'd love to see who's connecting with this approach to financial abundance. Money loves excitement and gratitude. I've noticed this pattern repeatedly. When you approach your financial journey with genuine enthusiasm rather than desperate need, opportunities seem to materialize more readily. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose energy just naturally draws people in? That same magnetic quality works. With money too. I remember speaking with Sarah, a client who completely transformed her relationship with money. She'd been struggling for years, always feeling like she was chasing dollars that kept slipping through her fingers. The breakthrough came when she shifted from anxiety to genuine appreciation for what money allows in her life. "I started thanking my bills," she told me, laughing. "It sounds crazy, but I began seeing each payment not as money leaving me, but as energy exchanged for services that enhanced my life." This shift in energy wasn't just some spiritual exercise, it fundamentally altered how she approached financial decisions. When you operate from a place of scarcity and fear, you make reactive choices. When you approach money with confidence and gratitude, you make strategic moves that compound over time. Trust becomes the bridge between your mindset and your actions. Many misinterpret trust as blind faith when it's actually about inner alignment. When you trust yourself and the process, you execute your financial plan with conviction rather than hesitation. You don't second-guess every investment or savings decision. This confidence isn't arrogance. It's the quiet certainty that comes from knowing you're making choices aligned with your deeper values. Consider how differently you handle money when operating from trust versus fear. When fear drives your decisions, you might hoard cash unnecessarily, miss investment windows, or overspend to ease anxiety. But when trust guides you, patience becomes your superpower. You can weather market volatility without panicking. You can stick to your budget without feeling deprived. The hidden truth here is that money responds more to your relationship with it than to the specific tactics you employ. Think of money as a reflection of your internal relationship with abundance. I've seen people with sophisticated financial knowledge struggle continually, while others with simpler approaches, but healthier mindsets thrive consistently. This journey toward financial peace isn't linear, and that's perfectly normal. You'll have days where gratitude flows easily, and others where old scarcity patterns resurface. The key is recognizing these patterns without judgment. Your awareness itself becomes a powerful tool for transformation. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because there's a crucial element many overlook. While mindset creates the foundation, specific actions build the structure. The bridge between them is what I call aligned action. Executing financial moves that genuinely reflect your values and goals while maintaining that positive energy. This alignment creates momentum that transforms your entire financial landscape. It's not just about positive thinking, it's about positive thinking that leads to consistent, strategic action. And that combination becomes virtually unstoppable in creating sustainable wealth. If what I'm saying resonates with your own experiences with money, type "alignment matters" in the comments below. Conscious action accelerates wealth. When I first encountered this principle, it transformed my entire approach to building financial freedom. You see, wealth isn't simply about accumulating money, it's about developing awareness around every financial decision we make. The most successful individuals I've studied don't just work hard, they work with intention, making each move with complete presence of mind. Think about your last 5 purchases. Were they automatic responses or mindful choices? This level of awareness creates a foundation for wealth that most people never establish. It's not about restricting yourself, it's about ensuring every dollar serves your greater financial vision. What I've noticed is that wealthy individuals rarely make impulsive financial decisions. They've trained themselves to pause, evaluate, and then act. This deliberate approach to money management compounds over time, creating results that seem miraculous to outside observers, but are simply the natural outcome of conscious financial behavior. Recurring gratitude shapes a prosperous mindset. This second principle might sound spiritual rather than practical, but I've witnessed its profound impact on wealth creation firsthand. When we consistently express appreciation for what we already have, we're programming our brain to recognize abundance rather than scarcity. This subtle shift creates a powerful ripple effect throughout our financial journey. The hidden truth here is that gratitude actually rewires your neural pathways. Research from positive psychology shows that regular gratitude practices increase your brain's sensitivity to future opportunities. You literally become better at spotting possibilities that others miss. I started implementing a daily gratitude ritual 3 years ago, specifically focused on my financial situation, and the opportunities that have appeared since then have been remarkable. This mental recalibration also affects your resilience during inevitable setbacks. When market corrections happen or business challenges emerge, a gratitude-conditioned mind recovers faster and identifies creative solutions where others see only problems. The wealthy know this. They maintain perspective during financial storms because they've cultivated appreciation for the foundation they already possess. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining how these two principles interact with each other in real-world scenarios. The synergy between conscious action and recurring gratitude creates a powerful feedback loop that accelerates wealth creation beyond what either principle could achieve independently. Consider how conscious spending decisions naturally lead to greater appreciation for what you purchase. When you thoughtfully select experiences and possessions that align with your values, you enjoy them more deeply. This increased satisfaction then reinforces your commitment to making deliberate choices rather than impulsive ones. Most people underestimate how much their daily mindset affects their financial decisions. The journey toward wealth requires psychological preparation as much as practical knowledge. I've watched countless intelligent people with solid financial information fail to build wealth simply because they neglected the mental foundation necessary for consistent implementation. The revelations come when you realize that wealth building happens in the quiet, consistent moments, not in dramatic financial windfalls. It's about training yourself to make slightly better decisions day after day while maintaining genuine appreciation for your current reality. This balance prevents the burnout that derails many on the path to financial freedom. Behind the scenes of every financial success story I've analyzed, there's a person who mastered this balance between action and appreciation, between pushing forward and being content. They understood that wealth creation isn't a desperate sprint, but a mindful marathon that requires both effort and enjoyment along the way. If what I've described resonates with your experience or aspirations, type "mindfully wealthy" in the comments. I'd love to know who else is approaching their financial journey with this level of intentionality. A daily discipline in visualization is essential. Think about it like training a muscle. The more consistently you engage in visualization exercises, the stronger your manifestation abilities become. Many people attempt visualization sporadically and then wonder why their desires haven't materialized. The truth is, creating a new reality requires persistent mental conditioning that rewires neural pathways and aligns your subconscious with your conscious intentions. When I first began my own journey with manifestation, I struggled with consistency. Some days I'd visualize with crystal clarity, while other days my practice would fall by the wayside. The results were predictably inconsistent. It wasn't until I committed to a non-negotiable daily practice, just 10 minutes each morning, that profound shifts began occurring in my experience. An unwavering focus amidst challenges is necessary, because this is precisely when most people abandon their visualization practices. During difficult times, many of us instinctively revert to worry and negative projection, the exact opposite of what serves our manifestation goals. Yet these challenging moments represent critical junctures in your transformation journey. When you maintain your visualization discipline despite external circumstances suggesting otherwise, you demonstrate true dominion over your mental landscape. What many practitioners don't realize is that visualization isn't merely about creating pleasant mental images. It's about generating and sustaining specific emotional frequencies that magnetize corresponding experiences. The vibrational resonance you establish through consistent visualization creates a foundation for manifestation that transcends mere positive thinking. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining the hidden mechanisms behind effective visualization. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. Neurological studies reveal that the same neural circuits activate whether you're physically experiencing something or vividly imagining it. This revelation transforms visualization from a speculative practice into a science-backed approach for reconfiguring your perception and consequently your reality. Consider the radical implications of this understanding. Each time you engage in detailed, sensation-rich visualization, you're essentially providing your nervous system with an experience it processes as real. This creates what neuroscientists call virtual neural pathways, mental rehearsals that prepare your system for manifesting these experiences in physical reality. The mind-body connection operates through this fascinating feedback loop. The subtle distinction between casual daydreaming and deliberate manifestation visualization lies in both intention and emotional engagement. When you visualize with purpose, infusing your mental images with the authentic emotional states you would experience if your desire were already fulfilled, you create an internal environment conducive to manifestation. This process involves something I call future memory creation, the art of imagining desired outcomes with such consistency and sensory detail that your mind begins to process these visions as memories rather than fantasies. This psychological phenomenon creates a profound impact on your decision-making, perception filters, and the opportunities you recognize in your environment. Most manifestation attempts falter not because the principles are flawed, but because practitioners underestimate the commitment required for this mental recalibration. The subconscious patterns governing your current reality have likely been reinforced for decades. Overwriting these patterns demands persistence, especially when facing resistance from your existing belief systems. If you're resonating with what I'm sharing here, write in the comments, "I'm committed to the practice." This simple declaration can serve as a powerful anchor for your own manifestation journey, reminding you of the importance of consistency even when results aren't immediately visible. Creating value is the cornerstone of sustainable wealth. When you focus on solving problems and meeting needs, money naturally flows toward you. It's like setting up a magnet that attracts financial opportunities without you having to chase them down. I've seen this transformation repeatedly. People who shift from asking, "How can I make more money?" to "How can I create more value?" experience a fundamental change in their financial trajectory. Think about the most successful businesses and individuals you know. Their fortune didn't come from obsessing over money itself, but from delivering something meaningful that others willingly pay for. This value-first mindset represents a profound paradigm shift that many miss in their wealth-building journey. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring the delicate balance between audacity and patience. This dynamic duo forms the backbone of wealth stabilization. Audacity pushes you to take calculated risks, to venture into uncharted territories where opportunities hide. It's the force that drives innovation and breaks through comfort zones. but unchecked audacity can lead to reckless decisions and financial catastrophe. This is where patience enters the equation, the overlooked hero in the wealth-building narrative. Patience allows your value creation efforts to compound over time. It gives you the emotional stability to weather market fluctuations and resist the temptation of get-rich-quick schemes, while others panic sell during downturns. Patience grants you the clarity to recognize hidden opportunities. The revelation that changed my perspective came when I realized that these two seemingly contradictory forces, audacity and patience, actually complement each other perfectly. Audacity without patience is gambling. Patience without audacity is stagnation. Together, they create a powerful framework for sustainable wealth accumulation. Consider how this balanced approach manifests in various wealth-building vehicles. In business, it means boldly pursuing innovative ideas while patiently refining your operations and customer experience. In investing, it means strategically allocating resources to promising opportunities while giving them sufficient time to mature. The underlying principle remains consistent across contexts. What many don't recognize is how this balance creates psychological freedom. When you approach wealth with both audacity and patience, you escape the exhausting cycle of euphoria and anxiety that plagues most people's financial lives. You develop the resilience to stay committed during inevitable challenges and the wisdom to recognize when adaptation is necessary. I've observed that those who master this equilibrium approach money with heightened awareness. They understand that wealth building isn't a linear journey, but rather a series of strategic moves, calculated pauses, and mindful adjustments. They recognize opportunities that others miss because they're neither paralyzed by fear nor blinded by impulsivity. The impact of this balanced approach extends beyond just financial metrics. It shapes how you perceive time, risk, and even your own capabilities. It transforms your relationship with uncertainty. Instead of fearing it, you learn to navigate it with confidence and discernment. This represents a profound internal shift that ultimately manifests in external results. If what I'm sharing resonates with your experience or aspirations, write "Balance brings abundance" in the comments below. Now, I want to explore how this framework applies to specific wealth-building strategies that often get misunderstood. Think about the last time you made an important financial decision. Was your mind foggy or crystal clear? The difference might have cost you thousands. Mental clarity isn't just a wellness buzzword. It's the hidden foundation of wealth building that nobody talks about. When I started tracking my financial decisions against my mental states, I discovered something fascinating. Decisions made during mental fatigue led to impulse purchases, missed investment opportunities, and emotional financial reactions that cost me significantly. The correlation was undeniable, yet surprisingly absent from mainstream financial advice. This revelation transformed my relationship with both money and mind. I began treating mental clarity as my most valuable financial asset. Rather than viewing meditation or mindfulness as separate from wealth building, I recognized them as prerequisite practices for financial excellence. Consider the journey of mental clarity as the ultimate behind-the-scenes preparation for wealth. Just as professional athletes prioritize mental conditioning alongside physical training, wealth builders must cultivate mental sharpness with equal intention. Your mind is where every financial decision originates. Yet how much time do you spend optimizing this critical resource? The wealthiest people I know all share one trait. They protect their mental energy with extraordinary vigilance. They create boundaries around information consumption, carefully curate their social circles, and build daily practices that preserve their cognitive resources. They understand that clarity is currency. One particularly powerful practice involves creating decision-making protocols for different mental states. When I recognize I'm mentally depleted, I automatically defer financial decisions above a certain threshold until after proper rest. This simple guardrail has prevented countless potential mistakes. The financial impact of mental clarity extends beyond avoiding mistakes. With a clear mind, you'll notice opportunities others miss, maintain patience during market volatility, and develop the discernment to separate genuine insights from financial noise. These advantages compound dramatically over time. What's particularly fascinating is how the relationship between mental clarity and wealth building creates a virtuous cycle. Financial stability reduces stress, which improves mental clarity, which leads to better financial decisions, which further reduces stress. This upward spiral accelerates once you consciously engage with it. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining the specific mental states that most powerfully influence financial decisions. Understanding these states isn't just interesting, it provides actionable intelligence for creating your own wealth-building mental framework. The journey toward financial freedom requires navigating numerous psychological terrains, each with its own challenges and opportunities. By mapping these landscapes, you develop the awareness to leverage your mind's natural tendencies rather than being controlled by them. Remember those moments when you felt completely aligned and confident about a financial choice? That wasn't random. It was the result of specific mental conditions coming together perfectly. The question is, can you recreate those conditions intentionally rather than waiting for them to appear by chance? The transformative potential of mental clarity for your financial life cannot be overstated. While others chase complex strategies or the next hot investment tip, the most reliable path to wealth may be cultivating the mental clarity to execute simple principles consistently and with excellence. If what I'm sharing resonates with your experience, write "clarity is my currency" in the comments below. I'm curious how many of you have already recognized this connection between mental states and financial results in your own lives. Imagine the power of financial guidance coming straight from the universe itself. I know it might sound mystical, but think about those unexplainable nudges you felt before making a money decision. That gut feeling telling you to hold off on a purchase, or the strange coincidence of seeing the same investment opportunity 3 times in one day. These aren't random occurrences, they're cosmic breadcrumbs on your financial journey. The universe doesn't speak in words, it communicates through patterns, synchronicities, and those unexplained moments of clarity. When you're considering a major financial move and suddenly encounter relevant information from multiple unexpected sources, that's not coincidence. It's alignment. It's the universe creating a constellation of clues pointing toward your financial true north. But here's the transformation that few people talk about. These signals mean nothing without a system to implement them. This is where automation becomes your financial superpower. When you automate your money habits, you're essentially creating a machine that works continuously in the background, turning cosmic guidance into concrete results. Think about what happens when you set up automatic transfers to your investment accounts on payday. You're no longer relying on willpower or memory. You've created a system that honors your financial intentions without requiring your constant attention. This is how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth, not through dramatic gestures, but through consistent, invisible actions that compound over time. The hidden truth about wealth building is that it's rarely about the grand decisions. It's about the small, automated habits that run in the background of your life. When you automate your savings, your investments, and your bill payments, you're essentially programming your financial destiny. You're creating a system that works while you sleep, while you're on vacation, and even on days when your motivation is low. This is where financial discipline transforms into financial freedom. By creating these automatic systems, you're not restricting yourself, you're liberating yourself from the mental burden of constant money decisions. You're freeing up mental bandwidth for creativity, connection, and the things that truly matter in life. I've personally witnessed the profound impact of these systems in my own financial journey. There were months when life became overwhelming, when emergencies arose, when my attention was pulled in a dozen different directions. During those challenging times, my automated financial system continued working silently in the background, building my wealth while I handled life's immediate demands. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how to recognize these universal signals and translate them into specific automations that will revolutionize your financial landscape. The journey toward financial abundance isn't just about numbers and spreadsheets. It's about creating a relationship with money that feels aligned with your deepest values and aspirations. Drop a comment below with the word aligned if you're starting to recognize these universal signals in your own financial life. I read every comment, and I'm curious to know which signals you've been noticing lately. Surrounding yourself with positive influences doesn't just make you feel better, it fundamentally reshapes your relationship with wealth. When you're immersed in an environment where others are making smart financial decisions, their habits subtly influence yours. It's like a hidden current pulling you toward better choices without you even realizing it. Think about the conversations that happen when you're around financially savvy people. Instead of complaining about bills or impulse purchases, you might find yourself discussing investment opportunities or sharing tips on reducing unnecessary expenses. These seemingly casual interactions actually represent powerful mindset shifts happening beneath the surface. Each step in building your personal wealth magnetism creates a compound effect. That's the beauty of this transformation. It's not about making one dramatic change, but rather consistently aligning your actions with prosperity. When you maintain a gratitude, practice for what you already have, while simultaneously working toward greater abundance, you create a unique energetic signature that money naturally gravitates toward. I've observed that people who successfully attract wealth often develop a certain psychological resilience. They view setbacks not as permanent obstacles, but as valuable feedback mechanisms. This resilience becomes particularly important during market downturns or personal financial challenges, when most people retreat into scarcity thinking. The wealth magnet keeps moving forward, scanning the landscape for new opportunities that others might miss during uncertain times. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic and explore the hidden architecture of financial attraction. What fascinates me is how our subconscious beliefs about deserving wealth create invisible boundaries around our financial lives. Many of us have absorbed limiting narratives from family, culture, or past experiences that silently sabotage our wealth-building efforts. Identifying and rewiring these core beliefs often triggers a remarkable shift in how money flows into your life. The journey toward becoming a financial magnet also involves developing an acute awareness of value exchange. When you focus on delivering genuine value rather than just chasing compensation, you activate one of the most powerful wealth attraction principles. This perspective shift transforms how you approach your career, business ventures, and even impersonal relationships. You begin seeing opportunities to create win-win scenarios where prosperity expands for everyone involved. Another fascinating revelation on this path is discovering how your physical environment impacts your wealth consciousness. The spaces you inhabit carry energetic imprints that either amplify or diminish your attracting power. Clearing clutter, positioning your workspace for optimal focus, and surrounding yourself with symbols of abundance might seem superficial, but These environmental adjustments speak directly to your subconscious mind, reinforcing your identity as someone who naturally attracts prosperity. As you integrate these practices, you'll notice subtle yet significant changes in how opportunities present themselves. The wealth attraction process often begins with small coincidences, a timely conversation with someone who mentions an investment you hadn't considered, or stumbling upon a book that provides exactly the financial insight you needed. These synchronicities aren't random. They're evidence that your internal compass is now aligned with abundance. If you're experiencing these wealth attraction principles in your own life, write "abundance flows to me" in the comments. I'd love to know that this resonates with your personal journey. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what happens when you embrace consistent, bold decision-making in your life. Think about this for a moment. Courage isn't just about those rare, dramatic moments that define your journey. It's actually woven into the fabric of everyday choices that might seem insignificant at first glance. When you approach your daily routine with intentional boldness, something remarkable begins to unfold. Those small decisions, choosing to speak up in a meeting when you'd normally stay quiet, reaching out to that potential client you've been nervous about contacting, or even just committing to that early morning workout when your bed feels particularly comfortable, create a compound effect that transforms your entire trajectory. This is what separates those who achieve extraordinary results from those who remain in perpetual planning mode. The hidden truth here is that success rarely comes from a single momentous decision, but rather from the accumulated impact of thousands of tiny moments of courage strung together over time. I've witnessed this transformation firsthand with clients who initially struggled with decision paralysis. One particular business owner I worked with spent months overthinking every minor business decision until we implemented what I call the 5-second courage rule. If an opportunity aligned with her vision, she would give herself just 5 seconds to decide before taking immediate action. Within 6 months, her revenue had doubled, not because of any revolutionary strategy, but simply because she was making more decisions and implementing them faster. The journey toward becoming a bold decision maker isn't always smooth, though. There's a psychological barrier many of us face. The fear of making the wrong choice can be paralyzing. But here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Indecision is actually a decision in itself. When you postpone choosing, you're actively choosing the status quo, which often carries more risk than taking calculated action. Behind the scenes of nearly every success story is this same pattern: people who developed the muscle of making decisions, quickly implementing them immediately and adjusting as needed. They understand that momentum creates clarity, not the other way around. What's fascinating is how this mindset shift affects not just your professional outcomes, but ripples through your entire life. When you practice courage in small ways, having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding, setting a boundary with someone who's overstepping, or investing in yourself despite financial uncertainty, you're strengthening your decision-making capabilities across all domains. The richest reward in developing this skill isn't just the external results, though those will certainly come. It's the internal freedom that accompanies knowing you can trust yourself to act despite uncertainty. This self-trust becomes your greatest asset in navigating life's complexities. If any of this resonates with you, I'd love to hear about a small act of courage that made a significant difference in your life. Drop in the comments. My courage catalyst was, and share that moment when a seemingly small, bold decision created outsized results for you. Strategic diversifications don't just amplify financial flow, they transform your entire relationship with money. When you build multiple income streams, you're essentially creating a network of financial tributaries flowing into your main river of wealth. This isn't just abstract theory. It's the hidden foundation beneath virtually every sustainable fortune ever built. Consider how the wealthy approach their finances. They rarely rely on a single source of income. Instead, they develop what I call a financial ecosystem, where various assets and ventures support and strengthen each other. This interconnected approach creates resilience that a single income stream simply cannot match. When one area experiences turbulence, others can compensate, maintaining your forward momentum even during challenging times. The journey toward financial independence demands more than just knowledge. It requires a fundamental mindset shift. Many people remain trapped in scarcity thinking, believing that wealth is a limited resource that must be hoarded. But those who achieve true abundance understand that wealth creation is about circulation and multiplication, not accumulation alone. This revelation often marks the turning point in a person's financial trajectory. Coherent action, meanwhile, serves as the bridge between strategy and results. I've observed countless individuals who possess brilliant financial knowledge but fail to implement it consistently. The truth is that sporadic efforts yield sporadic results. Financial success is less about dramatic moves and more about creating alignment between your daily decisions and your long-term vision. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is a period of seemingly unrewarded effort, what I call the invisible growth phase. This is when you're taking all the right actions, but not yet seeing tangible results. Many abandon their journey during this crucial stage, not realizing they may be just steps away from significant progress. Those who persist through this phase often experience what appears to be sudden success to outside observers. What's particularly fascinating is how personal development and financial growth intertwine. As you develop greater discipline, emotional intelligence, and long-term thinking, your capacity to build and manage wealth naturally expands. This explains why personal transformation often precedes financial transformation. They're intimately connected aspects of the same journey. Now, I want to go even deeper into the practical application of these principles. The most effective wealth-building strategies combine both passive and active income sources while leveraging your unique skills and interests. This personalized approach creates not just financial returns, but also sustainability, since you're more likely to maintain efforts that align with your natural strengths and passions. Remember that wealth creation is not a linear process. It typically follows what mathematicians call an exponential curve, starting slowly and then accelerating dramatically once certain thresholds are crossed. Understanding this pattern helps maintain perspective during the early stages when progress feels incremental. The impact of consistent, strategic financial decisions compounds over time in ways that most people dramatically underestimate. This compounding effect transforms small daily choices into life-changing outcomes over years and decades. It's this long-term perspective that distinguishes those who achieve lasting wealth from those who experience temporary financial success. If you're nodding along with these insights about strategic diversification and coherent action, write "Building My Ecosystem" in the comments. I'd love to know you're connecting with these concepts. Understanding wealth building is the first step, but creating an environment that nurtures financial growth requires deliberate strategy. Think of your financial future as a garden. It needs the right soil, consistent care, and protection from elements that could damage your growing assets. Many people overlook the profound impact of their immediate environment on wealth creation. The truth is, your physical space, digital consumption, and the people you regularly interact with all shape your financial trajectory. This environmental influence operates subtly, embedding either abundance or scarcity mindsets without your conscious awareness. Consider your phone, for instance. Those notifications constantly pulling at your attention aren't just disrupting your focus, they're potentially derailing wealth-building activities. Each interruption costs more than just time. It's draining mental bandwidth that could be directed toward opportunity recognition or strategic thinking. The universe continuously sends signals about potential, opportunities and pitfalls, but most people lack the awareness to interpret them. These signals often appear as coincidences or hunches, yet they can lead to transformative financial decisions when properly understood. I've witnessed countless journeys where individuals seemed lucky in their investments, but closer examination revealed they had simply become attuned to recognizing patterns others missed. This heightened awareness isn't mystical, it's practical. It involves creating space for strategic thinking, reducing information overload, and developing systems that allow you to process financial data more effectively. One approach is establishing a dedicated wealth hour each day, time specifically allocated to financial education, reviewing investments, or exploring new opportunities without distractions. Another critical environmental factor is your information diet. The financial content you consume shapes your decision-making framework. Most mainstream financial advice promotes conventional thinking that, while safe, rarely leads to exceptional results. Seeking out contrarian perspectives and studying wealth creators who operate outside traditional models can reveal insights that transform your approach. Your physical space matters too. A cluttered, disorganized environment creates cognitive load that impairs financial decision-making. Studies show that people make more rational economic choices in ordered spaces. This doesn't require minimalism, just intentionality about creating an environment that supports clear thinking. The relationships you cultivate represent perhaps the most powerful environmental factor affecting wealth. Financial behaviors, expectations, and beliefs are contagious. When you surround yourself with people committed to financial growth, their habits and insights become part of your natural thought process. This isn't about discarding old relationships, but rather about intentionally adding connections with those already walking the path you aspire to travel. Behind the most successful wealth creators is often a carefully cultivated environment that makes smart financial decisions the path of least resistance. They've structured their surroundings to automatically trigger behaviors that compound over time, creating what I call wealth momentum, the state where financial growth begins to accelerate with decreasing effort. Now, I want to go even deeper into how you can restructure your personal environment. To create this wealth momentum in your own life, the revelations coming up will show you how subtle shifts in your daily routines can dramatically alter your financial trajectory over time. If any of these environmental factors resonated with you, drop "environment matters" in the comments. I'd love to know which specific aspect you're planning to adjust first. An integrated financial system ensures automatic growth, but what exactly does that mean for your financial journey? It's like setting up a well-oiled machine that continues running even when you're not actively monitoring it. When your finances are structured with intention, your accounts talking to each other, your investments feeding back into your growth vehicles, your debts strategically managed, money begins to flow in a pattern that compounds over time. The real transformation happens when this financial system aligns with your internal landscape. Positive thoughts, emotions, and actions don't just make you feel better, they fundamentally alter how you interact with money. When you approach your finances from a place of abundance rather than scarcity, you begin to notice opportunities that were invisible before. Your decisions become more aligned with long-term prosperity rather than short-term relief. Consider how your emotional state impacts your financial choices. When you're stressed or fearful, you're more likely to make impulsive decisions that compromise your financial health. But when you cultivate confidence and clarity. You create the mental space needed for wealth to expand. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the hidden architecture behind sustainable wealth creation. Behind the scenes of every financially free individual is this dual approach, systematic structures working in harmony with an abundance mindset. The revelations come when you realize that the two are inseparable. Your financial system reflects your internal beliefs, and your beliefs shape how effectively you build and maintain that system. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what happens when we break down the barriers between our conscious intentions and our unconscious money behaviors. Many people experience a disconnect here. They intellectually understand sound financial principles, but find themselves repeatedly making choices that undermine their prosperity. This gap isn't just about lacking willpower. It's about unresolved patterns that run beneath our awareness. Your journey toward financial freedom requires illuminating these shadows. When you recognize that your spending habits might be tied to childhood experiences with money, or that your resistance to investing might stem from stories you've internalized about wealth, you gain powerful leverage in changing your financial trajectory. This integration process isn't always comfortable. It requires honest self-examination and a willingness to question long-held assumptions. But the impact of this inner work ripples outward, affecting not just your bank balance, but your relationships, your career decisions, and your overall sense of possibility. What's fascinating is how this integrated approach creates a flywheel effect. As your financial system generates results, your confidence grows. As your confidence grows, you make bolder moves within your system. This positive feedback loop accelerates your progress, creating momentum that carries you through inevitable market fluctuations and life changes. The most successful wealth builders aren't just technically savvy. They've mastered this integration of external systems and internal mindsets. They understand that abundance isn't just about accumulation. It's about creating flow. Money comes in, circulates through well-designed channels, grows, and then creates more opportunities for growth. If what I'm saying resonates with your experience or aspirations, type "Integration is my path" in the comments below. I'm curious to know how many of you are already working on bringing these two worlds, systematic finances and abundance thinking, together in your lives. If you've stayed with me through this exploration of integrated financial systems and abundance mindset, you're already demonstrating the commitment that financial freedom requires. This journey isn't just about information, it's about transformation. I'd love to continue supporting you on this path. If you found value in these insights, consider subscribing to the channel where I regularly share strategies for building both the external structures and internal mindsets necessary for lasting prosperity. If this message truly connected with you today, drop "Integration is my path" in the comments. I personally read them, and it helps me understand what's most meaningful to you. When something resonates deeply, that little thumbs up does more than you might think. It signals to me that these conversations about holistic wealth creation matter. There's a video right here that takes these concepts even further, exploring how to identify and reprogram those specific limiting beliefs that might be holding your financial system back. Click and continue with me over there. Your integrated financial journey is just beginning.